Welcome to this side of ABAQUS CAE. Now, firstly, I will try to create a model which is going to be a one element model. So let's create the part first as we did before, 1, 0, 1, and then the depth of 1 as well. So we will have a 1 by 1 by 1 cube. Properties. Now this is the part where we have to see which options we have. Obviously, we have to define elasticity. So again, I'm going to use the 200,000 and 0.33 as Poisson's ratio. For plastic part, we have a number of options here. So we can go with these different types of options. So let's go with plastic. So we can have isotropic hardening, where we can prescribe the yield stress and strain, which comes from the experiments. We can use Johnson & Cook model as well, and so on. So I think for the time being, we're going to go with isotropic hardening because we have isotropic hardening as well. But in this case, we will be needing some kind of stress strain data, which should come from the experiments or something. So let's start with our previous data. So we had initial yielding at 300, then at 400, let's say the strain is 0.1, then 500 at 0.25, then 600 at 0.3, then 700 at 0.5, something like this. So I am just making things up right now just to show you what it looks like. Then I will first create a solid section with material 1 and then assign this section to the component here. Next is assembly. I will bring everything here. Then I will go to the step, create a static general step, panel geom on, use a large number of increments, and then 0.1 as the initial time increment. The maximum is also 0.1, so we at least should get 10 outputs. There is no interaction required for loading. Again, I'm going to use a uniaxial boundary condition to fix this in displacement, and then I will select this. Then I will select U3 to be 0, then displacements U1 to be 0, and then displacements U2 to be 0. So this way we have defined the boundary condition, and then I'm going to apply displacement boundary condition on this face. So displacements continue, and I will apply a displacement of, let's say, like previous times, again -1, or maybe 0.5 because our strains are maximum 0.5. So this is how it looks like now. And then mesh, I will use a seed size of 1, so I only need 1 element here. Mesh the part, and then I go to the job, create, we'll call it 1 element default model. I will go with the full precision again, as always. Submit, and it should finish in no time. So it's completed in no time. We go to the results. If you look at the results, they look something like this. Now I'm going to go and plot the XY data. So manager, create field output. So logarithmic strain in third direction and S33. You can also plot mesial stress as well if you are more comfortable with that. Okay, we need to select the entity first, save as is, and done. And then create, operate on XY data, combine, strain, stress, save. This is the same thing as we did before, default model. And then if we plot, so it looks something like this as we give the values to this. Obviously in this case there is some kind of transition going on, and the our function which we have used might not be able to give these kind of jumps because our relationship is more sort of this kind of function, but we will try to see if we can fit our parameters to this. Here is the file, and now if I can edit this file, and in this case now I have to change the material definitions from the default model to our UMAT. So as before, I will first make these as comments. Using double statics, and then I have to first define the depth variables. And again, we have 13, 6 elastic strains, 6 plastic strains, and 1 equivalent plastic strain. And I'm naming them as these. So I'm going to again use the same definition as I showed you on my slides. So first one, STV1 will be elastic strain in one direction. And then similarly E22 and C3. So EE is elastic and strain, and EP is a plastic strain. Then we need to define the coefficient. So from the previous file, if I copy that definition, now you remember we never had any hardening exponent. So we need to have 4 because we are using 4 coefficients. And here we need to give some kind of exponent. And then I save it. Okay. And I should save it as UMAT. Okay, so now this UMAT file is there. So what I will do now, I will copy the UMAT subroutine as well from the previous folder. Both the files are in the same place. So now I'm going to go temp, and now I will say ABAQUS job equals 1 element. Instead of default, it should have UMAT. Double user equals to UMAT double interactively. Start with the compiler linking pre-processing of the input file, and now you can see everything is fine. So it ran the analysis and it is finished in no time. So now I'm going to go back to my CAE and open the same file here to see how the results look like, which is this UMAT file. Okay, and then I will create field output, same variables, select this element, save as is, and then I will say create, operate on XY data, combine, strain, stress, save. So this is UMAT, and close this, delete this. Now we'll plot this with the default model. So you see, this is the UMAT, and this is our file here. So what I have done is I have used these parameters, and by varying this to n equals to this, you can see I can get this kind of behavior. And if I change it to any other variable, then you will see that there are many different types of response you can get based on parameters you have used. So you can see how things really look like if you keep on changing the stuff. So as you can see, I have tried different values from 0.05 until even 1 as well. And this hardening model is not really flexible enough, and in this case you can see it is struggling to fit the parameters. What you can do in this case, so now I have used the parameter of 0.2 and yield strength parameter or sigma y parameter to be 100, and it's yielding much earlier. So maybe I can increase this parameter further, maybe make it 150 and see what happens. It should go up hopefully, and because I'm trying to fit with the experimental data. So let's see how it looks. And this is how you basically do parameter fitting when you have a experimental stress strain data available in real life. Once you have identified the parameters which fit perfectly with the experimental data, then you can do the real structural simulations. Sometimes all hardening models cannot fit perfectly. Like this model is very limited because it has only 2 parameters. So you have to also think about better models, and you can have a different isotropic hardening relationship, and that you can implement in the same subroutine as well. So you can be more innovative, and you can come up with a better hardening model as well. Now you can see it's a perfect fit, yields at the same time as the actual data. However, it struggles to simulate this part, and obviously for this part you need some kind of discontinuous function, so you might have to add something more in your hardening law so that it has any enhanced hardening at this point when you reach to this kind of strain. But this is how you basically fit your data with the actual experimental model, and I hope now you have learned how to implement the phone Mises plasticity theory with isotropic hardening and how to fit the parameters based on the experimental data. So our implementation is fine and everything works perfectly.